Latest update on Cyclone Uesi, which has intensified significantly in the last 24 hours, just shy of hurricane force at 70 mile per hour winds. It's 17.5 degrees south, 162.3 degrees east late this evening local time. 11 p.m. at NOUMEA right now, and it is heading south with a pressure of 984 millibars. CDPS stage 2, that's gone down because the storm is no longer expected to make landfall on New Caledonia, but is now likely to give it a glancing blow as it passes to the west. So the CDPS scale looks at Hainan, which is just off the northern tip of the main island of New Caledonia. This February the 11th, it's expected to make the closest pass. Stage 2 there, and I think rainfall is probably going to be the biggest threat by this point, which it could reach 6 inches, 150 millimeters. Here it is right now then, that wind field, which will also be a threat, of course. Tropical storm force winds will probably be widespread on New Caledonia. And there are the distances in miles right now: 165 miles from Hainan, around 300 kilometers. Poem 221 there, and Port Vila 392 moving away. NOUMEA 422 miles, that's still some distance away, around 650 kilometers there. Interestingly, the ADT from SSEC going with high-end category 1, I don't think that's the case. Everyone else going really with around 65-70 mile per hour winds. Fiji slightly lower there at 65. And this is the expectation over the next few days. Still fairly low confidence in this forecast cone, but you can see there that it will intensify further to reach hurricane status, and possibly maintain it for a good 2 or 3 days as it drifts south towards the coast of Australia, where it will pass uncomfortably close quite possibly, but it does appear that it will miss the east coast of Australia and avoid giving Sydney its first tropical cyclone impact pretty much ever. Well, this is what the GFS model is actually saying then. Looking at the precipitable water view here, you can see the energy core of this storm, and that will influence the weather in eastern Australia, but you can see it there gliding towards the south, and then playing chicken with New Zealand there as well. 1 or 2 model runs from yesterday did have it making landfall in New Zealand, borderline tropical at that as well on the South Island, but you can see that latest there from the GFS, it's not fancying that anymore, and a few other models also taking it fairly close, but not close enough to have the central core pass over land. Sea surface temperatures remain fairly warm there, 81, 82 degrees Fahrenheit, that's 28 Celsius, certainly warm enough for sustained cyclone development for the next 2 days before those sea surface temperatures start dropping off. So you can see there the yellows, that's hurricane force winds on the GFS model there. Has a first peak and then possibly a secondary peak there as well, still tropical by that point, and then continuing towards the south, then southeast, at some point there turning post-tropical, but remaining a rather large system, broad and powerful, and possibly delivering significant storm force winds to New Zealand. HWRF backing off that category 3 forecast it had yesterday, still going at high-end category 2, the other models still quite a bit lower. Wind shear though will be rising substantially through 40 knots by the time we get to Wednesday. Sea surface temperatures starting to decline by the time we get to Wednesday as well. That's when the storm accelerates towards the south, and so everything really goes against it by the time we get to that point. So it'll be interesting to see just what happens there and whether we see that post-tropical transition earlier than what the GFS seems to be saying. Couldn't quite tell whether it was tropical or not there, but it did appear to be on that wind profile. So here is the storm right now on the satellite imagery. We've seen rumblings of an eye in the last 12 to 24 hours, but at the moment not looking so hot, and I think that wind estimate of around 70 mile per hour winds, 110 kilometers per hour, is sufficient as we continue to monitor this storm.
That was a update from the Force 13's main channel, and via the AU channel, here's the latest, the Himawari 8 satellite imagery of Australia's southwestern Pacific region, and the cyclone 18.1 degrees south, 162.5 degrees east, Maximum wind 65 knots and minimum central pressure 978 millibars, but it could be lower. Here's the latest track charts from the Fiji's Meteorological Service. The Joint Typhoon Warning Centre has also updated their information, and they have a 314 nautical miles northwest of NOUMEA. However, we have a look at the upper level divergence. Wind shear 24-hour shear tendency. And my favourite, the 850 millibar vorticity. GFS accumulated precipitation. Information's at the bottom of the screen, and the picture is changing. Mateo, France, New Caledonia has activated their level 1 cyclone alert system, and as for midday they will activate level 2. They have it currently located 18 decibels 7 degrees south, 162 decibels 7 degrees east, to about 150 kilometres northwest of Belize. And here's the Joint Typhoon Warning Centre's track. The cyclone has tracked southward at 5 knots over the last 6 hours. Animated enhanced infrared satellite imagery shows the system has overall maintained a fairly symmetric profile with a deep central dense overcast obscuring the low-level circulation. The initial position is based with fair confidence based on a microwave eye feature. The initial intensity is based on the DVORAK estimate of T4, 65 knots. Cyclone will continue to track southward then southwest as the steering subtropical ridge to the east builds. Around 96 hours, mid-latitude trough approaching from the southwest will dig in and weaken the steering ridge. Now we have a look at the supercell probabilities from 10 AM through to about 2200 hours to my flood watch remains in place for the southeast Queensland catchments between Bundaberg and the New South Wales border. BI will update that about 1:30 PM. Catchments likely to be affected: the Burnett River, Bowen, Sherwell rivers, the Mary River, Noosa River, Sunshine Coast rivers and creeks, Pine Caboolture rivers, the Upper Brisbane River, Lower Brisbane River, Logan and Albert, Gold Coast rivers and creeks. So the Bureau has added a couple more to their flood watch. This is accumulated precipitation, and looks like there's definitely more rain across the next 24 hours. Instability, and I think we'll see more severe thunderstorm activity today. Bureau Meteorology New South Wales has cancelled severe weather warning for the northern rivers, mid-north coast, the Hunter Metropolitan Illawarra South Coast forecast districts. Hazardous surf warning remains in place for the Illawarra, Batemans and Eden coast. Flood watch remains in place for the Cane, Genoa River catchments, Victoria. Minor flood warning for the Snowy Mountains. And finally, in this particular update, here's a look at the Bureau's total forecasts of rain. Rainfall scale is the right hand side of the screen, and I think the picture has less on it. It's a little bit of purple and pink, but the Bureau of Meteorology said that the flood watch here in the southeast Queensland region will remain in place for a few more days.
Thank you for watching this production of Force 13. For more information about Force 13, you can check us out on all of our outlets. Our website, force13.com, where we are overhauling the website and writing new articles for your reading pleasure. We're also on YouTube, keyword Force 13. You're probably there already, good chance of that. If you are, hit that like and subscribe button to keep getting updates like this one coming to your mailbox. We're also on Facebook, keyword Force 13, where we post our updates, and keep an eye out for our live coverage on there as well. And we're on Twitter, keyword Force 13. And if you want to rock our colors like Nathan Foy here, you can go to our store available at store.force13.com, or you can contribute to the project directly by way of the Patreon. More information about patronage and the privilege you can get from patronage can be found at patreon.com/Force13, and you can reach out to us on Skype at Force13, or to me directly on Discord at TRIN extension 1375, or you can join our server with our new link at discord.gg/Force13.